Hello, this is Thomas Richards from SpirituallySmart.com, and I would like to thank you for taking the time to view this very important video. This video will be about Jesuit involvement in American politics and their associations with extremist groups and right-wing politicians who support the destruction of this one-time great republic. I say one-time great republic because this country has been so deeply infiltrated by these Jesuits who vow to serve the Pope. And the Pope is the head of another country inside Rome, Vatican City, which was given the status of an independent state by the fascist dictator Mussolini through the Lateran Pact of 1929. Of course, we know that Mussolini was not only a close friend of the Vatican, but was also very close friends with Hitler. Both of these were puppets of the Society of Jesus, the Jesuits, as was every other fascist dictator during World War II. In 1933, at the Vatican's urging, there was a concordat signed between the Nazi Party and the Vatican. A concordat is an agreement between the Pope and a government or sovereign on religious matters. The Vatican has always been behind tyranny. The Vatican has always been behind suppression of freedoms, such as free speech, freedom of the press, the right to bear arms. As we saw very recently in Chicago, Reverend Michael Pfleger exhorted the crowd to drag gun shop owner John Riggio from his shop like a rat and snuff him. Reverend Pfleger went on to tell the crowd that legislators that vote against gun control legislation should be snuffed as well. As many know, snuff is slang for especially violent murder. Here is the audio of Reverend Michael Pfleger calling for the snuffing of Mr. Riggio and the legislators who do not support new, strict gun control laws.
Father Pfleger from St. Savannah, give it up. Thank you, Reverend Jackson. Thank you for your moral voice that continues to speak up. Quickly, three things. Number one, I want the NRA to understand you have a lot of money, but money can't buy moral authority. And it can't buy justice or freedom. And we will fight you, NRA. We'll fight you on every angle. No matter how much money you got, we will embarrass you, and we will embarrass every legislator that takes the money from you. We will call them out by name, by district. We will expose you, legislators. Secondly, we met Mr. John Riggio. He's the owner of Chuck's. John Riggio, R-I-G-G-I-O. We're going to find you and stuff you out. You can't keep hiding because you're afraid. Obviously, you know you're doing something wrong. You wouldn't have your business in a truck. You wouldn't have a truck pulled in front of your door because you know you're going to hide like a rat. You're going to hide, but like a rat, we're going to catch you and pull you out. We are not going to allow you to continue to hide when we're here and sell guns all day long to people that are shooting. Thirdly, everybody here, understand you are doing the right thing. You're going to process right. You're in the right place at the right time. Understand that this is not going to go away. This is about money. The song is right. It's all about the Benjamin. But guess what? We're going to keep coming back. And like Reverend Jackson said, if it takes civil disobedience, if it takes whatever it takes to shut this and other stores down, and to shut down this legislation, it's insane that we have the legislation we do. We've got to change it. We're going to snuff out John Riggio. We're going to snuff out legislators that are voting against our gun laws, and we're coming for you because we are not going to sit idly. Keep on fighting, people. Keep on fighting. Keep on fighting. Keep on fighting.
In the city of Chicago, crime has gone through the roof. There is a lot of gang activity there, and all these gang members have guns, and will always get guns through illegal means. So why would this Catholic priest call for the murder of a legal gun shop owner who has not committed any crimes? The Vatican is a fascist state, and the Pope is the dictator of that state. But it is also true that the Pope is under control of somebody else. This somebody else is the Black Pope. The White Pope, or the Visible Pope, cannot say anything of importance on his own. Everything he says is carefully prepared by the Jesuits for him. Our current Pope, Pope Benedict was trained by the Jesuits and was under Jesuit instruction during Vatican II Council. Also, President Bush has surrounded himself with devout Roman Catholics and Jesuit-trained individuals, such as Attorney General Alberto Gonzales, Supreme Court Chief Justice John Roberts, Head of the Military General Peter Pace. Those are just to name a few. There's many, many more, and I will elaborate on this during the video. The Patriot Act was even written prior to 9/11 and was prepared by a Jesuit Georgetown professor. Bohemian Grove has strong Jesuit connections with the St. John of Nepomuk, which is the patron saint of the Bohemian Grove, as I uncovered a photo showing a Catholic Mass with altar boys and nuns and other figures holding Catholic Mass at Bohemian Grove. They even have a huge crucifix in the center with a man who's supposed to be Jesus Christ, the Lord, hanging on the cross there. Many of our patriotic founding fathers warned us of the Jesuits, but just look at our country with all their universities, all their churches, their groups, all the branches, and so on and so on. I just pray that you see the truth in this and the severe trouble that we are in. And I pray that Christians no longer accept their doctrines of lighting candles, of praying to and for the dead, of bowing down to graven images and worshiping them. That you no longer accept the doctrines of the Assumption of Mary into heaven, who has become some kind of deity. That you realize that it was their doing of the formulation of many covert government agencies, who have always used methods of torture to get information, as the Inquisitions did, who have secret prisons around the world, as they had with the Catholic Inquisitions, who bring charges against you without showing who your accuser is, as they did and are doing during their Catholic Inquisitions, as they are right now doing in Iraq, in Afghanistan, in Guatemala, what the Catholic Church has always done during Inquisitions. I will show you the words of ex-Jesuits and ex-priests and nuns who have come forward and told and verified that the Jesuits are doing these things and are behind many more genocides and abominations in this world. In this video I will be covering so-called alternative media that Jesuits also have a firm hold on. People such as Alex Jones, who is friends with many powerful Catholics and purposely hides the Jesuit order's involvement in the NWO, which the Jesuit order has created. I studied everything Alex Jones did. I saw 9/11, The Road to Tyranny, when it first came out, and I thought he was sincere at first. But since then he has exposed himself as a Jesuit coadjutor, a friend and helper of the Jesuit order which has brought this country onto the brink of destruction. Please be patient and listen to my evidence. I know that after I show you my information, that many of you will question Alex Jones' sincerity as well. Alex Jones, this is the title of my new page that you can see on spirituallysmart.com. There's a link on the main page. Alex Jones, CIA agent of the continued Project Mockingbird, and Jesuit temporal coadjutor and alternative media gatekeeper for the Vatican. It is well known that the CIA have been allowed by past presidents and members of the Congress to operate through our news sources and media and do mind control experimentation on the public. Operation Mockingbird. I say this because Congress and President has, or is supposed to have, the oversight of the CIA, so they are responsible for whatever the CIA does. In that failed Bay of Pigs invasion in Cuba, JFK took the heat for that, and he responded. He said he was going to break the CIA into 1,000 pieces. So, being that the President and Congress have oversight, this is an outrage. What's going on? Okay.
the CIA worked with the Nazi war criminals right after World War II and helped them escape war crime tribunals and brought them into the CIA and America via Operation Paperclip. As also the Vatican helped the Nazis to escape being punished through the Vatican rat lines. So here we have a Jesuit creation, the CIA, working together with the Vatican, achieving the same purpose, helping their Nazis to escape punishment. Working together with the Vatican and Jesuits during the most horrible Inquisition that the world has ever known. They were doing this. The CIA were aiding Nazis, and so was the Vatican. And the CIA was created by a very high up Knight of Malta, an officer in the army. His name was William Donovan, or William Wild Bill Donovan. Okay, so this same combination of people are working together now to destroy America through their orchestration of the events we saw unfold on 9/11 and the assault of our constitutional rights in America in the name of combating these terrorists that originated from them in the first place. And as we know, there was a Jesuit Georgetown professor, Viet Dinh, who was the main architect of the Patriot Act, and it was written before 9/11, and they used 9/11 to pass all the legislation. Okay, and it is the same combination of people and groups who have infiltrated the so-called alternative media, with the exception of a very few. Okay, Mockingbird was an immense financial undertaking with funds flowing from the CIA, largely through Congress for Cultural Freedom. The Congress for Cultural Freedom, CCF, founded by Tom Braden with Pat Buchanan of CNN's Crossfire. Okay, so CNN has the CIA funded and worked with the CIA. And CNN are the ones who had Alex Jones on their Showbiz Tonight, where he publicly lauded Jesuit coadjutor Martin Sheen, who has done a lot of work for the Jesuits. And he took his name Sheen after the charismatic Bishop Fulton Sheen, and his real name was Estevez, and several of his children kept Estevez, but Charlie Sheen kept Sheen. Now, I'd like to know why. And he's the one that teamed up with Alex Jones for this very public 9/11 questioning the government. And after that, Charlie Sheen was made the highest paid sitcom star. Okay. Now listen to this. Here's where Alex Jones comes in. Mockingbird was an immense financial undertaking with funds flowing from the CIA, largely through the Congress for Cultural Freedom, CCF, founded by Tom Braden with Pat Buchanan of CNN's Crossfire. Do you know that this is in Alex Jones's own website? Okay, so here you can see an article stating that Pat Buchanan was involved in the CIA working through the media right in Alex Jones' own website. In other words, Alex Jones has a known CIA asset who was Jesuit trained as a child and as a Knight of Malta, and is a good friend of Alex Jones. Alex Jones considers him. And between him, Ron Paul, and Pat Buchanan, you have this really close friendship and lifting each other up and promoting one another. Okay. In other words, Jones has a known CIA asset who was Jesuit trained and is Knight of Malta regularly on his show. Are you starting to see why Jones won't talk about this Vatican issue? Can you see a problem here? being that Pat Buchanan was a major player in the CIA playing mind control games on America through the media, and Alex Jones has him as a regular on his quote-unquote media program. Are you that sound asleep, people? Don't you see that the CIA is working through the Alex Jones show? Take a look at Buchanan's counterpart, who was on the show with Pat Buchanan for 3 years on that CNN's Crossfire. His name was Thomas Braden. Okay? Listen to this history. In 1940, he joined the British Army Office of Strategic Services, the OSS. That was the intelligence agency that became, basically, it closed down and the CIA started. Okay? So it was the OSS, then it was the CIA. Okay, he moved to Washington, D.C. and became part of a group of journalists known as the Georgetown Set. Braden joined the Central Intelligence Agency, and in 1950 became head of the International Organizations Division. Okay, and this is an American journalist. The CIA, OSS, a long history in this intelligence, covert intelligence operations. Okay. And he did the show with Buchanan for 3 years, this guy. Alright? They say he left the CIA. I don't believe that. They always say, yeah, he left the Jesuit order. He left the CIA, and then they continue off, and you gotta really question if they really left or not. I mean, these people are liars. I mean, that's their job, is to lie to you. You know, and when the Bible says all liars will have their part in the lake of fire. Okay, so they say Braden left the CIA in 1954 and lo and behold, became an owner of a California newspaper, the Blade Tribune. He became a popular newspaper columnist and worked as a political commentator on radio and television. He also was at one time a candidate for the governor of California. From 1978 to 1984, he co-hosted, so it was more than 3 years, it was 6 years. He co-hosted the Buchanan-Braden program, a 3-hour radio show with Pat Buchanan. He and Buchanan also hosted, that was what was 3 years, also hosted the CNN program Crossfire. At the show's inception of 1982, generally debating Buchanan or Robert Novak, although Braden's role in the programs was promoting as representing the political left, some critics have questioned this label. Media critic Jeff Cohen, in a Truth Out column titled, "I'm not a leftist, but I play one on TV," notes, during the Braden-Buchanan years, LSD guru Timothy Leary told a reporter that watching Crossfire was like watching the left wing of the CIA debating the right wing of the CIA. It may have been Leary's most sober observation ever. Okay, and then Buchanan, he was baptized into the Roman Catholic Church and has remained Catholic throughout his life, attending the traditional Latin Mass. He has also spent most of his education at Catholic institutions. He attended Blessed Sacrament School, the Jesuit-run Gonzaga College High School, and Georgetown University in Washington, D.C. Buchanan graduated from Gonzaga with a 98 average. He graduated cum laude from Georgetown with degrees in English and philosophy. Okay, so this is written and authored by me, and so you have Snyder Malta created the CIA, and you have these Skull and Bones members as part of it. I mean, who do you think's in control? Okay, I'm going to finish here. If anyone has anything to add to this, I'd really appreciate it. You put something good together, and I'll quote you in it if you want me to. If you could debunk it, debunk it. I would like to see someone debunk it. I mean, this is clear that Alex Jones is like a student of Pat Buchanan with this CIA work through the media, this project, a continuation of the Project Mockingbird. Of course, Pat Buchanan is a Roman Catholic, and Jones has other Roman Catholics on there too, and he just recently did a lecture at St. Edward's University in Austin, where his sister attends. Alright, so, come on, please look into the Catholic Church, and that alone will expose Alex Jones's association with the Catholic Church and what that means. Okay, thank you very much. Alex Jones has a huge entourage of people feeding him information, okay? And this information is just... okay, they say mainstream doesn't cover it. Okay, that's true. Alright. Not really. They don't really cover some of the stuff that he covers. But the stuff that he covers, it doesn't matter anyway, okay? Because he's not getting to the root of the problem. Okay, it's good to know about those different things, but it's not good to be fed all these different things without attaching the Vatican to it. So I put together these videos about Alex Jones because I know he has a huge following. People just like think he's the best, and I'm very suspicious of Alex Jones. This may not seem like much to you, and maybe I'm wrong, but as soon as I saw him, I couldn't believe that he was younger than me. And not only younger, but like 4 or 5 years younger than me. Okay? He looks older than me. He acts older than me. I mean, to me right there throws up a red flag of his age. Alright. But that's just, you know, a thought. I have no proof on that or anything. But one thing I do have proof on is his friend Pat Buchanan has an unbelievable history. Now, his friend Pat Buchanan, I did a search on just InfoWars, not including Prison Planet and Jones Report and some of his other sites, but just on InfoWars, and there was 16 articles that were mainly about Pat Buchanan and what Pat Buchanan was saying. So Pat Buchanan has a platform through Infowars.com, and Pat Buchanan, please look into Pat Buchanan. He's a mainstream newscaster, political advisor. I mean, just look at what he's doing. He's on MSNBC all the time. He had his own show on CNN. I mean, this is a conspiracy, and Jones is a part of it. And I wish you people would wake up. Alright, I'm going to read now some more about Pat Buchanan. Okay, so Pat Buchanan did a radio show with Thomas Braden for 6 years, and then he did CNN's Crossfire with Thomas Braden for 3 years. So that's 9 years that these men worked together. Okay, Pat Buchanan is a Knight of Malta, and so is the creator of the CIA, and so is Pinochet, that dictator in Chile that just died, and he had all this money in Riggs Bank, which was totally Jesuit. There was a Jesuit on the board of directors, and Pinochet was a tyrant. They put him in there, they took over the country and put in this Knight of Malta evil dictator. Okay? Who else was a Knight of Malta? Let's think. How about Franz von Papen, who was the main architect of the Concordat between Nazi Germany and the Vatican? Franz von Papen, Nazi Knight of Malta. Okay, that's another big one, alright? Look at spirituallysmart.com, look at my Nazi information. I have a picture of Franz von Papen, the evil Nazi who was behind this big concordat, this agreement and alliance between Nazi Germany and the Vatican the year Hitler came to power. I have him heading a Catholic procession. I mean, come on. He's a Knight of Malta. They never excommunicated him out of the Catholic Church. Okay, so you got Thomas Braden, who worked with Pat Buchanan for 9 years, okay? Okay, so, I mean, okay, so let's look at Thomas Braden. Mockingbird. Go to my site, please, and click on that link on my main page that says Alex Jones, Mockingbird, Vatican gatekeeper, CIA agent. Click on that and go down to the middle of the page and read my additional research and questions on Thomas Braden. Okay, there's this Google search there, Thomas Braden Mockingbird. You can see that was his baby. I'm going to just read my thing, all right. Do search Thomas Braden Mockingbird. Mockingbird was this man, Thomas Braden's baby. He worked for 6 years on a radio show with Pat Buchanan and 3 years on CNN's Crossfire. When Nixon took the Oval Office in 1969, Buchanan worked as a White House advisor and as a speechwriter to both Nixon and Vice President Spiro Agnew. Buchanan was influential in the White House, okay? When Nixon was in there, he had the whole Bush administration all over him like white on rice, okay? And Buchanan was the main guy in there, all right? So think about the scandal that is attached to Nixon, okay? And think about Buchanan was his advisor and speechwriter, okay? And you have this guy doing interviews with Alex Jones. He's a good friend of Alex Jones. Come on, people. Okay, here's a quote from Wikipedia. I know Wikipedia is, but you could source it out, and this is absolutely true. Okay, Buchanan remained as a special assistant to the president through the final days of the Watergate scandal. He was not accused of wrongdoing, though some mistakenly, they say mistakenly, suspected him as Deep Throat. Was he mistakenly suspected? If so, why is an interesting question. Interesting connection also. Buchanan's father was a big supporter of Senator Joseph McCarthy. Okay, Senator Joseph McCarthy, who was a graduate of the Jesuit University, must have been easy to manipulate in the hands of Jesuit Edmund Walsh, who suggested to McCarthy that he should make a name for himself by taking an extreme anti-communist stance and coining the term McCarthyism, which also ended up with the senator's total downfall. This whole communist thing, it was a Vatican creation. It was just a total scam to get your eyes on a false enemy. It was a smokescreen by the enemy who has infiltrated this country, and they are going through for the kill right now. So of course we know that the whole communist boogeyman was used to divert our attention away from the Vatican and to this new Cold War hoax that was brewing. Okay? The Vatican had egg all over its face after World War II. Everyone knew who they were in alliance with. That was their creation, that whole thing. Okay, you can read more about this on Jack Chick's book, Smokescreens. It's online. Now I have 2 questions. Why and how did Alex Jones get mixed up with Pat Buchanan? And why is Pat Buchanan publicly supporting Ron Paul along with Alex Jones? You have to really question what's going on here. Pat Buchanan publicly came out and is supporting Ron Paul, and so is Alex Jones. Ron Paul did an interview with Alex Jones, and so did Pat Buchanan all the time. Okay, there's like a nice little triangle there. Okay, so why would Alex Jones have someone so involved in shady politics and shady CIA people like Thomas Braden why would he have these people, why would he have them on as a regular on his show and have him on his website and consider him a friend? The father of the CIA was also Knight of Malta. There are 2 Google pages worth of articles in Alex Jones's site that involve Pat Buchanan. Don't you think that this, along with all the other Jesuit Vatican omissions and Alex Jones reporting, tips the scales against him? Okay, maybe not in a court of law because they're so completely controlled by Jesuit-trained and Catholic, prominent Catholic people, to where you'll never get a fair trial. I mean, who do you think 5 out of 9 Supreme Court justices are going to rule for? They're going to rule for their religion that they were raised in, trained in. I mean, Scalia even publicly says to continue on leading a Jesuit life after you graduate from Jesuit college. He says to stay faithful to the Jesuits publicly in speeches. And he sits on the Supreme Court. He's like one of the most publicly verbal justices out of them all. Then you got Alito, he's a Knight of Columbus, who take an oath to serve the Pope over anybody, over the U.S. Constitution, which is completely at odds with the Roman canon law. Please, people, wake up. See who the enemy is. Okay? I'm commanded by the Lord to expose this, okay? The Lord says in Ephesians 5:11, and have no fellowship with the unfruitful works of darkness, but rather reprove them. Okay? That's what I'm doing. I'm reproving them by exposing them, which is what John the Baptist did outside the gate of Herod, and it cost him his head. But the Lord commended John the Baptist. Jesus commended John the Baptist, said he was one of the greatest prophets that ever lived. And he was out there with a loud voice speaking against sin. Okay, so, you know, this mainstream media, okay, it's over for mainstream media. That's just, you're not going to get anything that's of any truth that's of importance through there. That's of real importance. You'll never, ever get to the core of the issue through the mainstream media. Okay? So how did Alex Jones get on there so many times? Okay? And then Alex Jones has Pat Buchanan. He's a regular for many, many years. Doing political programs and different things like that. And Buchanan was raised raised by Jesuits from a kid. And his Braden, that he worked with for 9 years, was in this group called the Georgetown set. Look at the names that are in the Georgetown set. Arvil Harriman, among many others. So, please, eat right so that your mind could function properly. Read the Bible. Okay? Stop crying out to God. We're in trouble here. Okay? Who's going to help you? You think you could do it by yourself? You think you could raise an army? You're not going to be able to. You have to cry out to the Lord. The Lord in His Word says He's going to do it. He's going to destroy this beast system. Read the book of Revelation. Okay? So, don't accuse the beast system of doing things that aren't right, and you're doing the same things. Lying, stealing, cheating. Why is it all right for you and it's not all right for them? You better get on the right side, okay? You have to turn from that and do what the Lord says, or else you're going to be punished with the beast system.
Free your mind.